In this next video, we're going to switch over to the vertical geometry tools, and we're going to kind of zoom in and talk about the vertical geometry main tools. And so I need everyone to need you to zoom into this area here. We're going to do the open profile model, set active profile. And we have a little bit of a note down here. Let me zoom in just a little bit further so we can read that note. And it says set the attached terrain model as active. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to hit F4 to clear out whatever tool I was in, and I'm going to set this terrain model as active. And it appears to be active already because I get the clear option, and if it wasn't active, I would get an option to set it active. So this model is already active. And again, I'm going to zoom back into where I was at. And the tools that we're going to be going over are right below the horizontal geometry tools. So I'm going to expand out the vertical. And the first one is open profile model. Now you can use the icon here, but what's even easier is if you just come over to the element itself, click on it, and you can open the profile model by this icon right here. So it's almost as easy, or maybe even easier, to pick it from here. So we're going to click on open profile model, and then what you got to do is select or open view. So I'm going to come down to view number 8 here. We have a profile in there already, and all I have to do is click in the field, and you can see there is my profile profiles for this particular linear element. And so we have a proposed one here, and then one that we get from the existing ground. Okay, and we can do that again on this one as well. If we come over here and click on this alignment, again open up the profile model, which is this icon right there. Come over to the view and then click in the view, and you can see these are the profiles for this particular alignment here. Okay, so we're going to slide on over to the next area here, and this one is profile surface and quick profile from surface. And in this one it says clear active terrain model. So I'm going to go out there and I'm going to go back into my view number 1, and I'm going to clear this terrain model by hitting the second icon. And when I do that, you might notice from the previous view that my existing ground went away. And the reason why that happened is because anytime you have a surface that's active, and this is our existing ground surface, that surface will automatically show up in your profile model. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and go into this this alignment. So I'm going to pick this alignment here. I'm going to bring up the heads-up tools. I'm going to go to the second icon. I'm going to open the profile model. And when I do this one, you'll notice I get no profile at all. And the only thing I get are these bands. And what these bands represent, it represents the limits of the curves in here. So this is curve 1, this is curve 2. If I had spirals in there, the spirals would have their bands as well. So we're going to go to do the first tool here. It's the profile from surface. And so that icon is right here. It's the third one over, profile from surface. We're going to click on it, and it says locate first element to profile. So I'm going to pick on that alignment, and I'm going to try to get this box out of the way. And it says locate next element, reset to complete. So I'm just going to reset that, and it says locate reference surface. And so I got to go out and pick the surface, and then if there was another surface, I could pick that, or reset to complete. So I'm going to reset the end since I picked the surface. Now it's asking me what are the limits of this alignment do you want to create a profile for. So I'm going to start at the beginning. I'm going to go all the way to the end. I'm going to do all points, and we can kind of look at the options they have here for point selection: all, vertice and centroid. We're going to do all. Profile adjustment, we're going to say none to that. Draping options, we're going to drape it right on the triangles of the terrain model. You can do a horizontal offset. We're going to say 0 to that, and then accept it. You can also do a vertical offset. We're just going to say 0. And when we're done with that, if we do a fit view over here, you should get that existing ground. Now again, if the terrain model was already active, we would have got this automatically. And so this one is actually written into this view here. It's not a temporary view like you get when you have the existing ground terrain turned on as the active surface. Okay, so that was one way of doing it. So I'm going to go ahead and hit F4. I'm going to come over to this profile over here in this view. And I'm going to go ahead and delete it, like so. And now we're going to do the quick profile from surface, which is the next icon, quick profile from surface. And with this one, it says locate the reference surface, which again is the terrain model. I'm going to reset to complete, and as soon as I click reset to complete, it draws that surface out there. Again, this is written into this file, and so if I would turn on the terrain, I would actually have two profiles in there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and delete this again and just turn the terrain on, and you'll see that it will come in automatically. And there it is. Okay. So next we're going to move on over to something called project profile to element, and then there's one also called project range to element. So what we're going to do is we're going to do just one of these because they're very similar in what they do. And so the little note here says the projected element must have an active profile. And so we're going to project this green line, and we can check out its profile. And it does have, let's see if it's got an active profile. That's not active, but this one's active. Okay. And the way I can tell that if it has an active profile is just hanging over the profile, the heads-up display will show. Now, if you want to make that active, what you can do is you can click on the profile and then come to the second icon. You can clear active profile, like so, or you can come in and set it as an active profile. Again, we have a tool for that over here, set active profile, but it's almost easier to go to the element. And so right now this profile is my active profile, but I can, if I wanted to, I can make the existing ground the active profile, and when I do that, this one does not become active anymore. So you can only have one active profile per alignment. So I'm going to go ahead and make this one active again. And then what we're going to do is we're going to project it onto this linear element here. So I'm going to open up that profile window. So it has two profiles, one existing ground that it gets automatically, and then it looks like a proposed profile, and I'm going to project this profile onto that one. And to do that, we're going to use this icon right here, project profile to element, and it says select element to project. I want to project that one. Select plan element to project onto. It's going to be this one, and you can see how it's trying to project onto that element. And so once I'm done with it, I'm going to select the plan view element, and there is the profile that it's projecting onto. Alright, so that's all there is with that one. Again, the second part of this, project range onto element, is very similar. Alright, so this one now, we're going to hit F4, and this one's the project extended profile. And the note, let's look at the note here. I'm going to slide on over just a hair. It says adjacent plan elements must have active profiles. Shows in an element's profile view the profiles of the adjacent elements. And so what we're going to do is we've got profiles on this one, and we want to basically show those profiles on this element right here. And so I'm going to go ahead and just take a quick look at these profiles here. You can see it's going down on this one, and this profile, if I look at it, it's kind of going up a little bit. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this middle element, and it has no profiles on it, and I'm going to just zoom out just a hair. And to use this tool, all we need to do is go on up, and I believe it's this one right here, project extended profile. And this is the third icon from the right on the first row. So I'm going to click on this, and it says select element to project onto. We're going to say the middle element. And now it says how far back do you want to show the profile of the tangent element. And we're going to go back past the beginning, and the same thing on this one. We're going to go past the end. And you can see when I did that, here are the profiles coming into that radius return. Okay. And later on we're going to show you a tool that will actually define a best fit profile between those two tangents. Okay, So that's the project extend profile. This next tool is the profile intersection point. I'm going to select this alignment right here, and I'm going to look at its profile. Looks like we just have an existing ground profile. And what I can do with this tool is actually show where this profile of this element is crossing in this profile view over here. And so that icon is this one right here, profile extend point, or sorry, profile intersection point. I click on it, it says locate element to show intersection. So it should be this line down here, locate element which intersects, and we're going to do this one here. And as soon as I do that, I get a point which is at the profile of this red line here, this red linear element. And if I hit F4 and I kind of zoom into here, I can actually click on this point and get some information. I get the station value and I get the elevation of that point. So in this case, it could be used for, like, maybe a roadway going underneath a bridge and you got to clear the girders by a certain distance. You can have your surveyor shoot in those girders and compare it to your ground line or something like that. So, okay, next one over here is a profile report. Okay, profile report. So I'm going to go ahead and look at this profile of this alignment here. Looks like we got a proposed profile, and what you can do is simply just click on the element itself and go to the third icon over, which is profile report. And when you click on it, it gives us a very similar report that looks like to the horizontal ones, but this is for vertical. Again, this is what it came up with as a default, but you can again right click on here and set as default vertical geometry. Okay, as well, just like the horizontal geometry reports, you can go up to tools and change the format options as well. Okay, so that's all there is to the vertical geometry main tools. It's just the first row of tools that we just went over. And the next video is going to deal with vertical geometry line.